tonight in Iowa City, and either Ohio State or Iowa will end the evening with a share of first place. Live from Carver Hawkeye Arena, welcome to Big Ten Conference basketball. 16th ranked Ohio State visits the Iowa Hawkeyes. 3 games played in the Big Ten earlier today. The big showdown, Michigan-Wisconsin in Ann Arbor. The Badgers got Cameron Taylor's 29-point explosion, but it was not quite enough because Deion Harris and the Michigan Wolverines came up big. Harris scoring 23 points, preparing the Wolverines to their 4th consecutive victory. So Michigan comes up with a big win over Wisconsin by a score of 85-76. Also, Michigan State wins at home, holding off Penn State, and Illinois blasts Purdue. So we take a look at the Big Ten standings. A real log jam at the top, and one of these 2 teams tonight about to join that log jam. I'm Larry Morgan along with Bill Hosket. And Bill, what a race it's shaping up to be, and suddenly this game even more important.
Well, unbelievable. We've only gone a couple of weeks. Everybody now with at least 2 losses.
Absolutely. Now, as far as the Buckeyes are concerned, their key tonight might be the 3.
Well, Ohio State, they play 4 out and 1 under. Terence is the big guy inside, but on the perimeter, they're very well fortified. Jamar Butler taking care of the basketball. He can shoot the 3. Foster shoots 47% from behind the arc. And Ron Lewis is also coming into the starting lineup here tonight. The matchup for Iowa, it's their strength inside. Greg Brunner just having a phenomenal senior season. He can score it, he can rebound it. He's going to be their all-time leading rebounder. And Eric Hansen leading the league in block shots.
The history of these series, these games are often close, often decided late, and the road team often plays very well. It's the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes next. Tonight's game is brought to you by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association. The difference is blue. By Dodge, grab life by the horns. And by Liberty Herbicide, make the most of every acre. It's a sellout tonight at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Ohio State visits Iowa. We'll look at the big guys tonight in our Star Watch. Brunner and Dials have meant so much to their teams this year, Bill.
Well, Terence Dials has played 7 times now in his career against the Iowa Hawkeyes. And Greg Brunner, I'll tell you, this guy is a throwback to the old-time Big Ten players. He's a banger inside.
He is, averages a double-double. Here are the starters. Sullinger, Dials, Lewis getting the starting call ahead of Sylvester. Sylvester's back bothering him a little bit, but he will play tonight. Butler and Foster. And the Hawkeyes, because they've been healthy with the exception of Horner missing 4 games in December, he hasn't had to change his lineup much. Thad Matta, the second-year head man of the Buckeyes. What a record so far, 34 wins, just 14 losses. Thad Matta, outstanding job as a head coach. Of course, prior to this, he was at Butler and Xavier. Steve Alford, in his 7th year as the head basketball coach at the University of Iowa, 6-7 lifetime against the Ohio State Buckeyes, 4th among Iowa coaches in wins. Donnie Gray, John Hughes, Winston Stiff are the officials. It's a big showdown tonight. The 16th ranked Buckeyes try to knock off the Hawkeyes at Carver Hawkeye Arena, something that no one has done so far this year. Iowa 12-0 at home. Brunner and Dials jump, and Dials wins the tap. Henderson comes out at the top of the circle to pressure Jamar Butler to get the game underway. Sullinger paired off early against Brunner. Dials makes a turn on Eric Hansen. And there's a foul on the game's first play. And that's going to be a factor early, Bill, is big guys, who gets foul problems and who doesn't, as Hansen picks up an early foul.
Well, a good move that time by Terence Dials. He took it inside and went with a shot fake as Steve Alford, concerned about the call. Probably more or less the timing of the call was somewhat of a slow whistle as Dials made a move inside.
And 17 seconds into the game, Dials on the free throw line.
He's having such a good shot blocker. People trying to score on the big guy, you have to show him the basketball and do what Dials did then, and then try to get him in motion, because if you just turn around and try to shoot the jumper, he'll swat it back at you.
Dials a couple of free throws, so in Dials you have the top percentage field goal shooter in the conference against the top shot blocker when they're paired off.
Good matchups all over the floor tonight. Ohio State coming with a little zone pressure. And whistle out on top.
Jaquel Foster picks up the foul. This is the 139th meeting between the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes. Iowa holds the lead in the all-time series by a margin of 6 games. You see the home team record in the all-time series, but interesting to note of late, visiting teams have won 8 of the last 12 games in this matchup. John Hughes moving Rick Brunner to an inbound spot where J.J. Sullinger comes up to watch him. So a quick foul either way with the ball game only 30 seconds old.
And the reason for that little delay, John Hughes went over to talk to the Iowa bench already in this one, trying to keep coaches under control.
Henderson being chased by Ron Lewis at the top. Now Haluska, who's been red hot lately, drains a 3.
Nice screen out on top. And that was a deep 3 by Haluska. Another one of these guys having a great season. He's just junior, leading scorer.
Averaging 19 over the last 5 games. Good entry pass to a jam by Dials. Once again, Terence Dials getting Hansen on his hip. Took it right to the hoop very strongly with both hands. Hansen in deep to score on the pass from Haluska. Returns the favor at the other end. And this game is starting out well with a quick scoring pace for both squads. Well, just terrific matchups in this game. Ohio State on the perimeter as Dials is moving inside again. Buckeyes obviously feel they can exploit Hansen with Dials, and they've gone to him in all 3 possessions. Well, when you start going inside, if help starts to arrive, that's where Ohio State will try to take advantage and shoot 3s. Pointers, deep 3, and the rebound taken by J.J. Sullinger, who is the top Buckeye rebounder at 7 a game. Dials, once again, the man with the ball inside against Hansen, and he's scored on him twice and been fouled the other time. He's held it on all 4 possessions for the shot. So far that is working for the Buckeyes. No secret to what Thad Mott is trying to do here in the early going, and that's just pound it inside. Brunner turns on Sullinger. Now Dials comes over for the double down. Haluska open momentarily on top. Horner with an offensive rebound. He's such a good rebounder for a guard. Even with the bad leg, Horner continues to compete. Haluska, his second deep 3, and Iowa back on top by 2. And that's why that hustle play by Jeff Horner pays off once again. Iowa starting 3 seniors here tonight, Larry, and there's a reason they're undefeated on this floor. Yes, senior leadership, and of course the Buckeyes are also senior oriented. Dials, quick turn, can't finish this time at a tough angle, and Hansen is there with the rebound. Iowa tries to add to a 2-point lead. Haluska has been on fire, averaging 19 over the last 5 games. A quick 8 to start tonight. You hit a couple of 3s, they come and crowd you, he puts it on the deck. Lunging that time off balance, but got it to go. What a talented offensive player. And this crowd, they're on their feet, early going. Butler shoots a 3. Brunner's there for his second early rebound. Brunner leading the Big Ten, averaging better than 10 rebounds a game. Horner to Brunner. There's the assist leader in the Big Ten, picking up another one. And Brunner took it into the hoop. Terence Dials went down inside. He got up slowly. Iowa 7 unanswered points. Lewis shoots over Haluska and nails the 3 for Ron Lewis, his 22nd tray of the year. Long 3s certainly silence crowds, don't they? They certainly do. The Buckeyes, the top scoring team of the Big Ten at 79 a game. Iowa, one of the better defensive teams. Right now, though, this is being played maybe at a Buckeye pace. They want to push the tempo, and that's what they're doing right here. J.J. Sullinger taking it all the way to the hoop. And it's a 12-11 Iowa lead of 1. Definitely a Buckeye pace at the start of the ballgame. Iowa has run at times successfully, and so far running right with Ohio State. When they're really successful, it's when they show patience at the offensive end. They made the extra pass that time. Oh, great entry pass to an open Dials. Good recognition by Butler. Dials beat his man, flashed across the lane. He's got 8 quick points for Ohio State. Great shooting by both ball clubs. It continues. Haluska.
What a great move off the dribble. They just cleared out the left side. He took it one-on-one.
So far, defenses are taking a vacation, Bill. It's been a shootout.
Both teams realizing the importance of this game. Adrenaline level very high in this one. There's Dials getting bumped inside.
And Dials works Hansen for his second foul. So Hansen, 2 quick fouls for Iowa. The Hawkeyes with a 3-point lead. 13. The early stories, Bill Hosket, have been Haluska for Iowa and certainly Terence Dials for Ohio State.
Well, Ohio State didn't disguise it. They went into Terence Dials on almost every possession, and he picked up 2 quick fouls on Hansen, which could be very critical in this ball game for the Hawkeyes.
Dials with 8 points so far. And Haluska with 10 on the other side for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So Dials and Haluska have 18 of the 29 points scored so far.
Well, Haluska's done it every way you can do it. He's hit the outside shots. He made a dribble drive, took it inside off balance, and then made a great one-on-one baseline move from the left side.
With Hansen and early foul problems, Doug Thomas has come into the Iowa lineup to try to contain Terence Dials, which so far has been impossible for Iowa. Dials with 9 of the Buckeyes' first 14 points. Of course, he scored 29 the last time that he faced the Iowa Hawkeyes here in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
12 out of 17 from the floor in that ball game.
And he brings the Buckeyes to within 1. Jeff Horner, who beat the Buckeyes with a last-second shot the last time these two teams got together, March 2nd of last year, and beat them 74-72.
Thad Mott has gone to his bench, bringing in Sylvester Mays and Matt Sylvester, so getting some fresh energy into the game, especially to keep the pressure on defensively.
And Justin Wick, who has seen limited playing time and has appeared in just 7 ball games prior to tonight, will come into the lineup at a guard spot, and that's because the Hawkeyes are without their backup point guard, Tony Freeman, tonight. He strained a calf in practice on Thursday, is not dressed for tonight's game.
Tough night to be without anybody on the perimeter.
And of course, the Buckeyes come in well rested, having not played since last Saturday when they won at Penn State, 75-64. Horner's 3 as the shot clock hits 0, but Brunner's there. However, it will not, or are they going to count the basket?
Either that or the personal foul. Was Matt Sylvester picking up the foul?
Sylvester with the foul.
So Iowa retains possession. Nice hustle move again by Brunner.
And off the ball, there's a push spotted. And the foul is called against Jamar Butler. Well, we take a look at the stats coming into the ball game. Buckeyes best offense in the league. Iowa one of the great defenses in the country, but so far it's been an offensive show. At
both ends of the floor. As you mentioned, Ohio State likes that pace. They would prefer to go up and down.
Haluska with a rare miss, so he will try again, and he's not going to miss 2 in a row the way he's shooting tonight.
And great job again by Brunner, getting his hand on that ball inside. That probably won't count as an offensive rebound, but he tapped it right out to Haluska.
Again, the lob inside for Dials, but this time the athletic Doug Thomas jumps in the way, knocks it down, gets the return feed and scores.
Oh, great job at both ends by Thomas. Talk about bringing energy into the game.
And that's something that he does off the Iowa bench, and he has to play a lot of minutes tonight with Hansen in foul trouble. Iowa by 5. Butler with the kick for Lewis for 3. Wow, the shooting is incredible.
The silencer again. Second time tonight. Just when the Iowa fans were on their feet, it's a sold-out crowd. Ron Lewis has delivered a deep 3.
Horner cuts and misses, and the rebound is taken by Matt Sylvester. Slowed by back spasms, but should play a lot tonight, but that's why he is not starting for the second game in a row for the Buckeyes. Butler losing it along the baseline, but Wick touched it last.
Butler fortunate there not to be called for the offensive foul. There was some pretty good contact as he kept that dribble alive and made the little hesitation move, taking it to the hoop.
Dials will get his first rest of the night after scoring 10 points as he and Butler check out. Into the lineup for the first time is Matt Terwilliger to play inside for Dials. And checking back into the lineup Lewis, the shot from the side won't go, and the rebound is taken by Thomas. Thomas, Iowa's #2 rebounder, though he doesn't play all that many minutes a game. Lewis trying to contain Haluska. Easier said than done so far.
They clear it out for Brunner. Nice strong move.
Second basket for Iowa's #2 scorer, Greg Brunner. Sizzling shooting to start the ball game. Foster comes off the screen by Sullinger on the miss. And we've got a timeout with 11:46 to play in an action-packed first half. Plenty of scoring. Iowa leads Ohio State by 4. Iowa 22, Ohio State 18. The Hawkeyes undefeated on their home court. They've knocked off 2 rated Big Ten foes. Illinois came into Iowa City without a loss, but the Hawkeyes prevailed in that one with a great defensive effort, holding the Illini to 48 points in a 63-48 victory. Then on Tuesday night, Indiana was here, ranked number 11, but the Hawkeyes took care of the Hoosiers as well, holding Indiana to a season-low 60 points, and Iowa won at 73-60. Haluska with a 20-point, 10-rebound performance. The Hawkeye fans have celebrated victories on their home court over 2 rated Big Ten foes. They also knocked off North Carolina State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and so they've knocked off 3 foes who were ranked on their home floor this year and have won 13 in a row in Carver Hawkeye Arena, dating back to last season.
And Larry, they're trying to make it 4 tonight with this shooting we've seen in the early going. Iowa 10 out of 16 from the floor.
Brunner had the ball slapped away, but a foul called in the process.
We talked about Ohio State being good on the perimeter. The 4 out, the 1 under. Where they don't have the matchup is 2 big people inside, and Brunner is a real load in a tough matchup for Ohio State. Iowa continues to go inside to him. He'll go out right now for a breather.
Sullinger on the foul for the Buckeyes. It's his first. 4 called against Ohio State early in the ballgame, 2 against Iowa. Haluska will inbound. Alex Thompson has come into the lineup for Iowa. Again, if you joined us a little late, Eric Hansen, 2 quick fouls, is on the bench. Tony Freeman not playing tonight because of a strained calf. Down the lane comes Henderson to score.
Another one-on-one move.
Iowa, a team that has really struggled shooting the basketball this year, coming off their best shooting half of the year. They shot better than 60% in the second half against Indiana, and they continue that pace tonight. Lewis for 3. Thompson pulls down the carom.
1 and done for Ohio State. Iowa, a great defensive rebounding team.
Haluska off the baseline is on fire. 14 first half points for Adam Haluska.
And it doesn't seem to matter whether someone has a hand in his face or not. Phenomenal athlete, great high school track athlete. We've seen all those abilities going both ways with great speed here in this game.
Here's Mays, the junior college transfer, working against Horner. Lewis tries to take Thompson inside, and Thompson blocks it, and Horner's there to pull it down for Iowa. The Hawkeyes enjoying their biggest lead at 26-18. Henderson works against Sullinger. And a double dribble is called on Mike Henderson. The turnover gives it back to the Buckeyes.
Here was that move by Henderson, dribbling in with the left hand, twist his body, put it up with the right hand. And then Haluska moving well without the ball, hitting the corner jumper.
Iowa worst shooting percentage in the Big Ten in all games, 41%. But Bill, tonight it has been an entirely different story. Ivan Harris, number 3, checks in for the Buckeyes.
I think the trouble with the Hawkeye offense is a rainbow 3 that time from Jaquel Foster. Is they haven't always made the extra pass all season. When they get rushing, the percentage goes down in a hurry. Tonight they've gotten some pretty good looks.
Foster, a great 3-point shooter. That his first of this ball game, but as Bill told you earlier, hits 47% of his 3 tries. From the free throw line, Thomas lets fly. Doug Thomas with his second basket.
And there was the extra pass again. Henderson inside. He had thoughts about it. Pitched it about 9 feet to his open teammate for an easy jumper.
Harris outside against Thompson. Now Foster tries to take corner inside. Sullinger. Harris with the offensive rebound momentarily, but couldn't hang on, and Haluska grabbed it for Iowa. The kick for Thomas off the baseline. And Thomas, who comes in averaging 5 points a ball game, has 6 off the bench in relief of the foul-plagued Eric Henson. A 9-point Iowa lead, their biggest.
Thomas has really made a difference in this one. Jamar Butler takes it inside, doesn't drop.
Anderson with a lazy pass. It's intercepted, and Foster picks it off for the Buckeyes. Foster looked like he might go for a 3. Instead, it is Dials to nail a 2. And Dials with a dozen points to lead Ohio State in scoring, and it's a 7-point Iowa lead.
Well, that time with that Hanson on the bench, Dials took the jumper. When Hanson, the big guy, was on it, he was taking it inside, trying to draw some body contact, which he did effectively.
An opening for Thomas. Nobody picked him up.
Terence Dials just went to sleep defensively, and his teammates didn't help him. He kind of hesitated. His man had the ball.
And it was an invitation for Thomas to drive, and he did.
He's done a great job coming off that bench.
Bounce pass inside to Dials. Nice feed from Butler, and Dials has his 14th point of the first half.
Well, I guess if you can't guard him, you try to match him at the other end. So Terence Dials got a quick one inside.
A blistering pace in this ball game. Haluska being watched by Foster. Buckeyes trying a number of different people trying to cool him off. Here's Thompson too hard off the glass, and the rebound comes to Harris.
Tough break for Thomas. He had it in his hands that time right inside in the offensive glass. Couldn't pull it down.
The left-hander tries a 3, not this time, and there to pull down the rebound, Haluska. His second rebound to go along with his 14 points.
A little quick that time in the possession, but this is Ohio State style. They will continue to shoot threes from a lot of different positions on the floor from multiple players.
Brunner beats Thompson. Thompson, call for the foul. And with that, it's Buckeye ball when we return to Iowa City, with Iowa leading at 32-25. 32, Ohio State 25. Larry Morgan and Bill Hosket with you. What a highlight, full first action.
A lot of action both ways. Haluska with a tremendous start in this one, as has Terence Dials for Ohio State. We've seen threes, we've seen dribble drives, we've seen Thomas come off the bench and do a great job for the Hawkeyes.
Thomas has really electrified the crowd and the Hawkeyes with play at both ends of the court.
Well, Iowa is 15 out of 22 from the floor for a very nice 68%.
Not too bad. That coming off an outstanding half against Indiana in the last ball game, and the shooting continues high. Foster with his second 3 of the ball game, pulling the Buckeyes within 5.
Yeah, you make 15 out of 22, you expect to be up a little bit more than 4.
You would, wouldn't you? Very few turnovers in the ball game, but Mays comes up with one there, tries to finish what he started, and can't. And Seth Gorney out of Vandalia, Ohio, where he went to Butler High School, comes up with a rebound. Brunner spinning into traffic, but able to get rid of it. Thompson is open for 3. It's off the mark, and the rebound is run down by Sylvester Mays. From Redlands, Oklahoma Community College, has done a nice job this year for the Buckeyes in a relief role.
Sylvester with a quick shot that time. Ball fake and then airballed it. He gets the crowd in the game after him right now.
Brunner tries a 3.
Too quick a shot that time for the Hawkeyes, Larry.
Steve Alford was really pleased with the way his team read defenses and made good decisions against Indiana. It led to their best shooting percentage of the year, 51% for the game. He wanted more of that tonight. That Sylvester cranks a 3.
Inside outside by Ohio State.
It's been a ball game that has seen all kinds of scoring early. It's the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Larry Morgan and Bill Hosket with you. We've seen a lot of threes. We've seen some great individual play from Haluska and Dials. We've seen about everything thus far except very many fouls.
Well, Larry, usually when you have a pace like we had in the early going, you might get that for 4 or 5 minutes and then it settles down. We've really had it up until about the last minute and a half, a frantic pace in this basketball game. And you look, Ohio State was concerned coming into this about Iowa's strength. They're just dominating glass.
But right now, the Buckeyes on an 8-0 run. They trailed by 9 at one point. They're now within 1 on an 8-0 run. Therefore, the Steve Alford timeout. And now the Hawkeyes, who have missed their last 4 shots, will inbound.
Eric Hansen stays on the bench with the 2 personal fouls.
He got those before the game was 2 minutes old. But his replacement, Doug Thomas, has come off the bench to score 8 points. Nice look inside to Gorney, who can't finish. Sylvester bothered him defensively, and Foster runs it up the court for the Buckeyes.
Strong rebound by Jaquel Foster.
Dials now working against Gorney. Looking for Harris, can't find him, and the turnover gives the ball back to the Hawkeyes. Starter Ron Lewis comes back for Ohio State, and Ivan Harris will go to the Buckeye bench. Adam Haluska looking for a seat on the Hawkeye bench, but the way he started the game, he won't be there for long. Carlton Reed is coming to take his place. Haluska, 14 points to start the ball game. He deserves a rest. Pointer guarded by Mays. Pointer told you earlier today that knee brace is about to come off, Bill.
Well, he thinks this is the last game he'll have to wear it. Partially torn ligament, and as a senior, he's playing through it. It's repairing itself, he says, and
had to miss 4 games in December because of the torn ligament. He had played in 102 consecutive games prior to missing 4 and has come back. The long bomb won't go by Lewis, and the rebound grabbed by Brunner. Brunner, the Big Ten's top rebounder, has 4 early in this one.
well, we saw Thomas uncovered for the Hawkeyes earlier in the game. That time Lewis was wide open, almost forced to shoot it.
Brunner unable to finish. He got the open shot. Sylvester the rebound. The Buckeyes trying to regain the lead. Mays feeds Lewis. Lewis will go to the line with a chance to get the Buckeyes the lead. But first a timeout with 3:39 to play. It's now a 1-point game. The last 4 minutes and 6 seconds, and that's been a problem this year. They went through a 12.5-minute scoring drought against Wisconsin in the first Big Ten game. They had a 6-minute drought against Illinois. You look at Jeff Horner, and Bill told you earlier that he's about to get that brace removed, and he will be delighted when that occurs.
Well, that brace is obviously the type that you see offensive linemen wear playing football, so it's a cumbersome brace, but it's allowed him to at least participate and keep on playing. Playing with a bad knee, you can kind of direct where you're going offensively, as we see Lewis misses the first of 2. But where you have troubles wearing that brace is trying to react defensively.
Gorney's foul sending Ron Lewis to the line. The transfer from Bowling Green, averaging 13 points a ball game for the Buckeyes. Had a couple of threes earlier, so he's got a 7-point night, and he knots it up at 32. The steal almost by Sylvester Mays, but then he runs out of room. Foster back into the lineup, and Mays, who did a couple of good things defensively, will lead.
Well, that's one thing that doesn't fall off for Thad Matta when he substitutes on the perimeter, is he has that ability to keep pressure on the basketball, get up in the passing lanes, and this is an Ohio State team that's tried to score for their defense all season long as often as possible. Donnie Gray at the scorer's table right now. I think we're either talking about the possession arrow or the clock a little bit.
And he's going to come over and explain to Thad Matta what he was talking to the official scorer about.
Amazing how fast this game has been in the first half up until about the last minute and a half, and each team with just 14 fouls. So a lot of action, but not a lot of contact. Thad Matta talking things over.
And now Donnie Gray says we are ready for play. Iowa trying to end a 4.5-minute scoring drought. Have seen their 9-point lead evaporate. The game's tied at 32. Haluska has it tipped by Lewis, gets it back. Reed working against Jaquel Foster. Foster really has him bottled up. Haluska comes off the curl cut, but nothing going, so he goes to the baseline and has it blocked. Coming up at halftime, Bill and I will look ahead to take a look at some Big Ten big games that are coming up. Also learn about beneficial programs at each school, and of course, we'll review first half action. And there's been plenty of action up to the last 3 minutes when things have slowed down. Is Haluska still hot? Almost in and out.
Everything but down on that one.
Lewis blows around Haluska, gets to the basket to score, but will be called for the charge.
Well, getting by Haluska is an effort in itself because he's a good defender. Lewis, great quickness along the baseline. The help defense arrived inside. Ohio State picks up the personal. You get another look. There's the move.
As Doug Thomas slides over to take the charge. Points in the paint. The Hawkeyes have gone inside, Bill, just like you thought they would probably need to do.
Right there to that man.
And it's worked.
Right on cue. Just a flash cut inside. Brunner, good strong move, established position, and then obviously knows what to do with it once he gets it inside.
Butler tries to penetrate and is fouled as he does.
Dials and Thomas up high. Flash cut by Greg Brunner. Beats his man easily, gets the layup, and Butler that time heard the whistle about the blow, anticipated it, and got it up in the air, so he'll shoot a pair. Good free throw shooter, makes the first of two.
79% on the year as you look at Eric Hansen. 2 fouls before the game was 2 minutes old. Has not returned to action, but Iowa's really gotten a lift from his replacement, Doug Thomas.
Well, it's interesting that Ohio State worked so hard to get him in foul difficulties and haven't gone to Dials as much since.
Butler tries to tie the score. And does, and it's even at 34. 2:25 before halftime in a rapidly played first half. Neither team yet in the bonus, both teams with only 5 fouls.
J.J. Sullinger now trying Brunner.
A great defensive recovery.
Just his quickness allowed him to recover that time. He ran the same play to the opposite side. Brunner cutting down the lane again was wide open. And Sullinger recovers with a long arm. Got a piece of it.
What a great effort. Brunner fouled by Sullinger. Sullinger with his second foul. That's the 6th called against the Buckeyes. Matt Sylvester back into the Ohio State lineup. And Sullinger with that foul will go to the bench with 2 fouls.
Well, Ohio State just can't handle this guy at this end of the floor, whether it's Sullinger or Sylvester. As he knocks in the jumper, they go right to it. Now the tough part for Brunner is he has to come out and guard one of those guys at the other end. So that's the matchup game you play continually.
Iowa by 2. The Hawkeyes led early by 9. Calling for it, Dials on Thomas. I don't think he has scored with Doug Thomas guarding him tonight, Bill.
Well, that time he had a pretty good look. Just too strong with it, and then Lewis coming from the weak side will pick up the personal foul.
And that will be the 7th against the Buckeyes. The field goal shooting, a lot of shots taken. It has cooled off a little bit. Iowa's still at a blistering percentage. The Buckeye figure is down, though. Ohio State, the team, the Big Ten's leading scorer at 79 points a game, but so often this year, Iowa's defense has really held people below their average. We talked about Illinois and Indiana earlier, and that's, for the most part, been the story, especially on the home court for Iowa this year. Hawkeyes allowing less than 60 points a game.
Less than 60 points a game, and teams are shooting under 40% against them. And one of the big reasons for that is Iowa does such a great job on the defensive glass. They don't give you easy putbacks or second opportunities.
In fact, Iowa's field goal defense ranks 4th in the country at 37%. Haluska 16 points. Iowa with a 4-point advantage.
Iowa, after the made free throws, coming with a little pressure of their own. Now showing a zone defense.
A sellout crowd looking on. Sylvester to the baseline.
Tough shot there as Sylvester hits that little floater.
Sylvester off the bench for a couple of baskets, a 3 and a 2 tonight for the Buckeyes. Henderson's usual backup at point guard. Tony Freeman, the freshman out of the Chicago area, not playing tonight because of a strained calf. So Henderson's going to see even more minutes than usual.
Here's Brunner again, taking it inside. That time Sylvester got a piece of it.
And the Buckeyes try to tie with a 2 or lead with a 3. They'll go for the lead. Foster for 3. The long rebound comes to Haluska. His 6th rebound of the first half to go along with 16 points.
Long threes produce long rebounds when they don't go, and Haluska did a nice job getting to that ball.
Corner with a kick for Brunner. Sylvester hops on him. Brunner tries to take it inside. And he gets the foul against Sylvester. That'll be his 2nd foul.
Here's Sylvester going to the baseline, a little shot put variety. He's very good offensively, hitting that in-between length jump shot. Floating toward the goal, it's a hard shot to control. Offense is not where Matt has problems, especially here tonight, and Thad Matta has really being challenged, both J.J. Sullinger and Matt Sylvester, by Greg Brunner.
There was a lane violation against, or is it a foul?
I think he was just naming the player that got in too early.
A lane violation against Dials. So Brunner will get another chance. And in a ball game like this, and so many of these Buckeye-Hawkeye games go down to the last minute, it's the little things that sometimes add up. Given a second chance, Brunner takes advantage of it. Brunner, 13th on Iowa's all-time scoring list. Right now, number 2 on the rebounding list, but coming in tonight needed just 31 to pass Kevin Kunert for the all-time rebound leadership. He's also 6th in school history in block shots. So the senior from Charles City, Iowa, put together a great career. Shot clock is off.
Ohio State will go for the last shot of the half. They look over, get instructions from Coach Thad Matta. Terence Dials coming up top.
Now going inside, leaving it short. Thomas secures the rebound. Horner will try to get a last shot away. Counts if it goes, it does not. And the first half has come to an end. A high-scoring first half of action. And the Iowa Hawkeyes have the lead on the 16th-ranked Buckeyes at the break. Our halftime score, Iowa 40, Ohio State 36. We'll be right back. The second half begins. Both teams trying to tie for first in the Big Ten, both coming in at 4 and 2. Overall, the Buckeyes with 14 wins, the Hawkeyes with 15 wins. Second half is underway. Both teams are back to their starters. Eric Hansen, who played less than 2 minutes in the first half after picking up 2 quick fouls, is back in there. On top, it is Horner. Brunner with the shot clock now at 12 on this first possession. Henderson tries a difficult shot and scores it. And the Hawkeyes open a 6-point lead as the second half begins.
Better patience that time by Iowa. Brunner making the extra pass, going all the way across court.
Foster cranks a 3. The offensive rebound, Sullinger. He goes up in a crowd. And Eric Hansen has committed his 3rd foul as we take a look at first half stats. And the thing that jumps out at you, Bill, is the fact that Iowa shot exceedingly well. They're last of the Big Ten in shooting percentage, but tonight, 52% in the first half.
Well, Haluska shot it so well, and of course, Thomas was 4 out of 4 from the floor, but look at the points in the paint. Most of those were Greg Brunner, and that's who they credited that last foul to, not Hansen. So he still plays with 2. Brunner picks up the personal. And J.J. Sullinger going to the hoop for Ohio State to the offensive glass. That was their first offensive rebound in the game.
Yes, Iowa was the rebounding, dominating team in the first half as they out-rebounded the Buckeyes by 10, 21-11. And again, no offensive rebounds for Ohio State in the first half. So again, Brunner with the foul, not Hansen. He continues to play with 2. And Bill, we talked about that matchup inside, and Brunner and Dials would be keys, and they're both having fine games.
Well, Brunner with 10 points, got 4 rebounds. 2 of those were offensive rebounds in the first half, and that's not unusual for him. Terence Dials started extremely well. You're seeing Hansen come out high, try to pull Dials out away from the basket.
Horner misfiring from the 3-point line. Horner without a point so far in the ball game. He comes in averaging a dozen.
I still think with that knee situation, it's just tough to get your balance. That time he was leaning a little bit. Lewis with a very creative move inside, just shoveled it up and in.
Lewis with his 9th point. He's been in double figures in 13 of his 16 games at Ohio State. A real good addition to their lineup. Henderson quickly darting to the basket. Brunner with the assist, and Henderson with the hoop.
They're bringing out Hansen high to set screens away from the ball. Iowa just playing with an open middle here to start the second half.
Foster working against Horner. Dials trying to clear some space against Eric Hansen, and he scores his 16th point, coming off a 29-point performance the last time he played on this floor.
Nice touch on that pass inside that time to get it inside the Dials. There's Hansen out high. The cutters are just going off of him.
Haluska for 3. Offensive rebound by Henderson. Henderson, I was very quick junior point guard. Brunner now turning to face Sullinger and dribbling it off his foot.
Sullinger and Sylvester both picked up 2 personals apiece in the first half.
Shot clock hits 10. Hansen, an open pass to the basket, trying to close it is Butler, and he commits the foul.
That time out on the floor, Terence Dials went for the steal. And here's that high post play, open basket area. Henderson got it. Ohio State, more traditionally, 4 out, 1 under, just going inside to Terence Dials. Butler
Brunner
reaching in there, fouled actually before the shot was taken.
Brunner on a spin move, and a blocking foul will send Brunner to the line.
Thad Matta that time up and off the Ohio State bench, not in agreement with that one.
First foul on Dials, second one early against the Buckeyes. Ohio State, a team that has really done a good job at the offensive end, averaging nearly 80 points a game. They're on pace to get there. Henderson tries to move against Lewis, instead finds Hansen, who hits from his favorite spot on the floor. He loves the left baseline. Hansen's got 6. Iowa leads at 46-42.
Nice rhythm out of the big guy that time as he just hit that little turnaround jumper. Showed a lot of nice touch. Sullinger with a good spin move inside, comes up short.
Dials tries to keep it alive, but Horner finds it for Iowa. Brunner takes Dials inside, leaves it short, and a good job by Sullinger to get in front of Brunner and pull down the rebound. Haluska goes for the steal, but can't hang on, and so the ball goes to the Buckeyes.
Thomas comes back in for Hansen. He'll get a nice round of applause both way. Hansen with a nice jumper inside, and Thomas giving him a great lift in that first half coming off the bench.
Ron Lewis to inbound. Again, the ball to Dials. Has not been able to score on Thomas tonight, but there's Sullinger. They won't count it, though. No basket.
Boy, that call coming out from out on top. We'll get another look. Holding up and over the back.
And it's the 3rd foul on J.J. Sullinger, so he becomes the first Buckeye with more than 2. Iowa has Hansen with 2. The Hawkeyes are 5th in the country in fewest fouls per game at less than 15 a game. Buckeyes are in the top 30, so neither of these teams fouls a lot, but Sullinger rather unhappy with the call as he gets his third foul.
Well, it's a tough call because you're having such a tough night anyway going against Brunner. If you're going to pick him up, you don't want to pick him up going to the offensive glass. Now Sylvester back inside, and Terence Dials trying to hang down inside to help out.
Last year's game in Iowa City between these two decided with less than 5 seconds to play on a Horner jump shot, and this ball game headed like it might not be decided till the final minute. It's a close one now. Timeout with 15:38 to play in regulation. Iowa by 4. Ohio State 42 as we take a look at the Big Ten teams in the nation's top 25. And Bill, there could be some changes there this week.
Well, you think about the Michigan Wolverines, who had such a great week beating both Michigan State and Wisconsin. So they're going to get some mention, maybe some exchange of places before it's all over and the next ratings come out. But I think we're going to see this all season long in the Big Ten, and the Iowa Hawkeyes feeling the same way. They beat Indiana earlier in the week.
And if they would knock off number 16 Ohio State, they would expect to be back in the top 25. So you're right, there'll be a lot of changes. Haluska off the front of the iron, and going high to pull it down is Ron Lewis.
Game settling in the second half, like so many Big Ten games do, to more of a half-court variety.
Sylvester open for 3, not good, and Brunner has his 5th rebound to go along with 10 points. He comes in averaging a double-double, and in fact is the Big Ten leader in career double-doubles among active players. Rebounding, big story in this ball game because Ohio State with just 1 offensive rebound. But it was a margin of 10, a differential of 10 at halftime, Bill, and now the margin is only 5, so the Buckeyes doing a better job on the glass in the early moments of the second half. Here's the steal by Ron Lewis, trying to challenge him Henderson, and Lewis scores.
Nice job in the open court by Lewis, not only coming up with a steal, but a nice move as he took it to the hoop.
And it's a 2-point ball game as we go under 15 minutes in regulation.
Hawkeyes undefeated at home, non-conference and in the conference, as Jaquel Foster picks up the personal foul.
They're
trying to hold serve on their home court, and Ron Lewis trying to do something about that as you take another look at the steal and the layup at the other end.
And meanwhile, the Buckeyes trying to become the first team to get to 3 Big Ten road victories. Only 2 teams have 2 victories. Northwestern and Ohio State have 2 road victories. Nobody else more than 1.
Well, Ohio State had the 1 home loss, and that was to the Spartans of Michigan State in double overtime. So Buckeyes feeling, I'm sure, that they have to go out and get one on the road that maybe you don't expect.
And of course, their only other loss this year by 2 at Indiana. So 5 points separates the Buckeyes from a perfect season so far. Sylvester Mays is coming to the lineup for the Buckeyes. Dials looks where Brunner is, instead flips off to Lewis. And Lewis will be going to the line with a blocking foul called against Brunner. That'll be his 2nd.
I think Ron Lewis in the first half took it to the baseline and picked up the charge. This time he said, I'm just going to jump over everybody. Great explosion as he took it to the hoop, fouled in the act of shooting.
Lewis, a 2nd-team All-Mid-America Conference performer in his 2nd season at Bowling Green before coming back home to Columbus and playing for the Buckeyes his 1st season at Ohio State. And so far, he's really been an asset. He has averaged nearly 13 points a game, gets to the free throw line more than any other Buckeye and cashes in on him. He's an 80% free throw shooter.
Well, he's a tremendous offensive player. And, of course, Thad Matta had the luxury of bringing him off the bench until 2 games ago. Matt Sylvester had some back spasms, and Lewis got the start, started again here tonight.
And he ties the ball game. 6 points in the second half for Lewis, 13 in the ball game. It's even at 46. I have to say, Bill, this is a really well-played game, wouldn't you?
Well, this is what you have. I think when you get seniors in this conference, they know each other well. They're playing hard. Strong move by Brunner. It doesn't drop.
Buckeyes try to score in transition. Mays for 3. Wick tries to keep it alive, and it comes back to Lewis. Ohio State tries to take their first lead of the second half.
Nice recovery by the Hawkeyes. Ohio State doing a nice job of moving the ball and moving people. Terence Dials just triple teamed that time and still shoveled it up there.
And Justin Wick, a Little U senior, who was a walk-on last year, comes up with a rebound. Earned his scholarship this year. Thomas tries to make a move along the baseline, and he is fouled. Dials with his second foul. And the Buckeyes now have 5 in the second half. The Hawkeyes just 2 team fouls. So Iowa could be to the line fairly soon. Good look, Thomas inside to Wick. Trying to take it away from him is Mays, and Mays with a foul. So that's the 6th foul called on the Buckeyes with 13:29 to go in the game.
Nice cut to the basket and the inbounds play. Iowa doing a nice job of keeping that basket area open here in the second half, and multiple formations trying to get the ball down inside to Cutters. Terwilliger will come in as big Terence Dials goes out.
Justin Wick at the free throw line playing tonight because Tony Freeman is out with a strained calf. He is the number 2 point guard for the Hawkeyes, but out for tonight's ball game, not even dressed for the game. And Wick able to hit the free throw. That's only his 3rd point of the year, and it gives Iowa a 1-point advantage. Lewis left open, nails a 3. His 3rd 3 of the ball game, 16 for Ron Lewis.
Terwilliger set the screen and then rolled to the hoop. Both defenders went with Terwilliger. Left the man with the ball wide open.
Henderson has it taken away from him. Foster on the drive and the score. Jaquel Foster with his first basket in the second half, and the Buckeyes had their biggest lead at 51-47.
Quick hands by Ohio State.
And Iowa will use a timeout as the Buckeyes have grabbed their biggest lead. Ohio State leads at 51-47.
Well, in the first half, Iowa led it by as many as 9. Here was that play where both people backed off the man with the ball, and Ron Lewis drilled it for Ohio State's 6th tray of the game. And then Jaquel Foster, with that good quickness, just stepped into the passing lane and got the easy one at the other end.
Of course, in the Big Ten, Bill, you never want to back off any 3-point shooter, but certainly you don't want to back off Ohio State's 3-point shooters. They're 2nd in the conference and 7th in the country at 3-point shooting as a team.
Well, they make a living from beyond the arc.
And they have in tonight's game Iowa's only 2 threes, 2 early threes by Adam Haluska.
Ohio State trying to pressure all over the floor, and Brunner going right back down inside where he's comfortable, trying to post up Matt Sylvester.
Again, Wick seeing a lot of minutes tonight with Freeman on the bench, so it's Wick, Thomas, Henderson, Brunner, and Thomas on the floor for Iowa. Henderson with an open look and gets the roll.
Nice job by Jeff Horner. He went inside. He's having a tough night offensively, but he didn't force it. Used good judgment. Got it to Henderson, and as you mentioned, got the roll on the jumper. But a big hoop for the Hawkeyes coming out of the dead ball situation.
Sylvester, Mays, Terwilliger, along with Butler and Lewis on the floor for Ohio State.
Sylvester Mays taking that one quickly in that possession. Brunner going in, just buries that right shoulder, creates a little space and knocks in the short jumper. He is a load.
For Brunner, yes he is. And you said before the game you thought he would be a factor. He just tied this game up for the 4th time. Butler pulls up. Henderson rebounds.
Nice screen. Butler had a good look. Brunner has it cleared out again. He'll just operate one-on-one.
Instead shoots over Sylvester, and Sylvester makes contact. Sylvester with his 3rd foul. Brunner will be on the line when we return in a tie ball game. Tied at 51. We take a look at the leaders in the ball game. First of all, for the Buckeyes.
Well, Terence Dials got it done early. He and Ron Lewis both with 16.
And for the Hawkeyes, Adam Haluska, the leader with 16 points, but no points second half.
All of those coming in the first 20 minutes. And it's tough to score where he is right now.
It certainly is. Brunner on the line following that 3rd foul against Matt Sylvester, which was the 7th foul on the Buckeyes. So Iowa will be in the bonus for the final 11 minutes and 16 seconds of the game. On the other side, Iowa with just 2 team fouls. Brunner this time fouled in the act of shooting, though, and he's able to hit the first one as we take a look at players who are in foul difficulties so far.
Well, Sullinger's on the floor for Ohio State playing with the 3 personals. Ivan Harris has just checked in for Thad Matta's club.
Brunner with 14. A 53-51 Iowa lead on the 2 free throws by Brunner. Alex Thompson has come in at the timeout. He's guarding Ivan Harris, who came in at the timeout for Ohio State. Foster for 3. The long rebound tipped by Thomas. Horner goes to the floor to try to save it and then gets the timeout to prevent the walk. Again, we talked about players in foul problems in the ball game thus far, and Bill, we take a look at that, and it looks like Sylvester with 3 fouls and Sullinger with 3 fouls for the Buckeyes. Iowa, nobody in real trouble.
Well, Hansen had the 2, but they came in the first opening moments of that first half, and he's played sparingly, but Thomas has done a great job, created problems for Terence Dials. But the big position for Ohio State with over 10 minutes remaining, 10:57 to be exact, is the fact that the 2 guys assigned to Greg Brunner are both playing with 3.
And Brunner having an outstanding night, 14 points right behind Haluska in Iowa scoring tonight. 6 boards as well for Greg Brunner, as he just continues in his senior year to provide a double-double virtually every night out.
Horner continues to have a tough night offensively as you look at Brunner taking a breather, but made a great hustle play moments ago, even with the leg brace and everything else, getting to that rebound and then alertly calling a timeout.
Haluska back into the lineup for Iowa. So Henderson, Horner, Thompson, Haluska, and Thomas on the floor for Iowa. And the takeaway, as Haluska can't hang on, some good defense provided by Foster, and the Buckeyes will get it. And Sullinger with 3 fouls back in the ball game, playing along with Jamar Butler, Ivan Harris, Terence Dials, and Jaquel Foster. Low turnover total. Again, this has just been a well-played game. Dials starts to move in to the lane, but before he can do that, he gets fouled. Thomas with his first foul. Only the 3rd foul called on Iowa in the second half.
Hawkeyes in the 1-on-1. Ohio State with the 17 fouls. Looks like they're going to zone the inbounds play.
Sullinger out of the corner for 3. J.J. Sullinger, his first 3. He's got 7 points, and the Buckeyes back in front.
Ohio State doing a nice job of recognizing the defense, just spreading it out, calmly passing the ball.
Horner kicks for Henderson. Thomas off the baseline. The air ball rebound taken by Jamar Butler, and the Buckeyes try to extend their 1-point lead.
Terence Dials trying to get position down inside.
The lob intended for Dials. You can never underestimate how high Thomas can jump. He really gets up there, deflected it. Buckeyes still have it though, and Sullinger on the miss, and Haluska on the rebound. Haluska's pulled down his 7th rebound. Henderson in trouble, spins, tries to put up a creative shot. He got one of those earlier, but not this time.
When in doubt, put it on the glass down inside.
He's kind of out of options, wasn't he, Bill? It's Harris.
Ivan Harris following that same rule.
Again, the 3-point shooting, we talked about it at the beginning of our telecast. That might be the key. If the Buckeyes could hit him, they had a great chance to win. If Iowa could defend him, they had a great chance to win. Right now, the Buckeyes are hitting him, and they lead by 4.
Well, your concerns are Jaquel Foster, Ron Lewis, Jamar Butler, and who do the last 2 come from? J.J. Sullinger and Ivan Harris.
See, that's pretty scary if you're the defending team. Sullinger and Dials combine on the rebound.
Foster using the screen.
Thompson comes up with a loose basketball for Iowa. So with 9.5 to play, the Hawkeyes come up the floor with a fast break to Thomas. Doug Thomas with 10 points.
He just beat Terence Dials down the floor. Great job of running the floor. Great recognition. Pass was perfect.
Thomas playing one of his better Big Ten games, and this is 2nd year at Iowa.
You wonder why Horner leads his conference in assists. You saw right there, great vision.
Butler's drive results in a foul against Iowa. To the free throw line, Jamar Butler, who's an outstanding free throw shooter at 79%. Buckeyes 72% as a team. Henderson got the foul, and it was his first. Hansen and Brunner back into the Iowa lineup. Henderson and Thomas will leave. Harris goes out for Ohio State, and back in is the red-hot Ron Lewis. Butler, 3 points, all from the line. Buckeyes by 3, 58-55.
High screen by Hansen. Terence Dials comes all the way up top to help show on the screen.
Thomas. Alex Thompson with a three, just his second three of the year. But Thompson picks a great time to do it for Iowa because he ties the score at 58.
Now we've got a stoppage. Donnie Gray, I think, warning Thad Matta.
Thad Matta quite upset with the officiating.
I think he just felt he was too far out on the floor and stopped play for a moment to go over and talk to him.
Earlier, he had fired a blast at Donnie Gray during a previous timeout, and now he wants a Buckeye timeout with 7:42 to play.
Well, Dan Peters, the assistant coach, went over to talk with Donnie Gray as Thad Matta just turned and got himself into the huddle. Pretty good move right there.
It was, wasn't it? He's been around. That was a nice move indeed. And so this game tied at 58 all. We have a break in the action, a timeout. Buckeyes timeout. This game tied at 58.
That glass again.
Again, the Buckeyes, the best team in the conference, shooting the three ball, and tonight they're doing a great job with that as well. Second best team in the conference, I should say. Seventh best team in the country.
Dials going one-on-one inside. Went with the left hand, it doesn't go.
Brunner rips down his 8th rebound. Thompson trying to take it to the rack.
Foul before the shot on this one. Iowa fans wanted the goaltend.
Well, you look at this ball game, Adam Haluska started off huge, 16 first half points. The Buckeyes, though, have been able to stay into the ball game by hitting their threes. 5 ties and 8 lead changes, and the turnovers are very low for both ball clubs, and both coaches will love those turnover totals.
Especially when you consider the pace we had in the first 20 minutes. It was 40-36 at intermission.
Jaquel Foster picking up his 3rd foul, and Adam Haluska is one of the best free throw shooters. In fact, ranks 4th in the Big Ten Conference in free throw shooting in league games. That's only his 3rd miss in conference play in the front end of the 1-and-1. So the score remains tied at 58. Lewis tries to change that, and he knocks down his 4th three of the ball game. 19 for Ron Lewis.
Inside outside from the guards that time. Jaquel Foster penetrated along the baseline, and Lewis didn't react. He stayed right behind the line.
Horner tries to penetrate, but there to knock it down is Butler.
Butler's done a great job defensively on the senior Horner here tonight.
Horner has been held scoreless, and that has not happened very many times in the 4 years that he's played at Iowa. Brunner
Nice
down the
fake.
lane to the rack to score.
Good ball fake and a nice strong move.
16 for Brunner, a 1-point Buckeye lead. Just under 6 minutes to go. Sylvester looks at a three. Lewis takes the three. Sylvester hustling for the rebound, tips it over for a three-point try that won't go by Foster.
Ron Lewis reaches in on the rebound. That'll be 9 team fouls on Ohio State. So Iowa in the double bonus the rest of the way. This one will be the 1-and-1.
That's the 3rd foul on Lewis. So now Sullinger, Lewis, Foster, and Sylvester all have 3 fouls. And for Iowa, nobody with more than 2. Thompson, a seat on the bench. The Iowa crowd applauding his play tonight. The sophomore making a big contribution, making a big three a moment ago. Eric Hansen coming off a 11.6 block performance on Tuesday against Indiana. Hits his 7th point in this ball game and ties it at 61.
It's hard to say that the guy has an upside when he's still a senior, when he's already a senior, but that's really the way you look at Eric Hansen. I just think there's more basketball ahead for this guy because he has such great timing and a decent touch.
And he gives Iowa the lead with 5 minutes and 35 seconds to play.
Big late bloomer going out right now.
Sylvester, a deep three, is short. On the rebound comes to Henderson. Henderson trying to push the tempo. Here's Thomas inside. Brunner there for the offensive rebound. Blocked by Dials.
I think Jaquel Foster stepped on the end line.
Now let's take a look at our well-marked Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa Hawkeye highlight. And it has to be the Thomas Jam on the pass from Horner. .5:15 to go. It's Iowa by 1 with the possession. The possession arrow favors the Buckeyes. Again, the next Ohio State foul will put Iowa in the double bonus, while Iowa has been charged with just 4 fouls in the second half. And a conversation between Donnie Gray and official John Hughes. They're trying to get something sorted out. Winston Stith also there, and right now it is Donnie Gray on the right and John Hughes on the left. Donnie Gray is an interesting job in his full-time job. The man on the right there, the referee tonight, is the validation clerk for the United States Senate, which means that when a bill comes through the Senate, he makes sure that the wording is correct before it becomes law. So he knows some things about rules and regulations.
Well, he should know all the rules.
Yes, he should. And he no doubt does. And so they're going to look at a monitor, and we'll see what it is that they're looking at here that has held up play. Again, it's Donnie Gray, the official on the right, John Hughes, a couple of veteran officials on the left, and they're going to call the third member of the team, Winston Stith, over to let everybody know what's going on. And the truck, they're finding the play that the officials want, and as soon as they do, they'll show it to you and us at the same time.
It must be whether or not there was a shot clock change. There you see the shot by Sylvester. But this took place after the ball went up at the other end.
Right, there was a shot at the Iowa end.
If Foster caught the ball out of bounds or what the question is. They're the opposite side, obviously, from where we're seated. There was no foul on the play as Brunner went up inside. It was blocked by Dial, so the ball.
Maybe the question was Foster standing inbounds or out of bounds when he got it? He was,
well, he was
seemed
clearly
to be
inbounds right there.
If that was the question, the replay certainly indicated.
2 seconds off the shot clock. I guess Foster came in from out of bounds. He was still part of out of bounds when he grabbed the ball, and the ball never touched the rim.
So that is the situation. It will be Iowa ball with 33 on the shot clock and 5:15 on the game clock.
So we had a 2-minute delay to find 2 seconds.
But getting it right, that's the important thing, and that's what this officiating crew did with the help of the replay monitor.
Well, you said Donnie likes to follow the rules.
Yes, he does. To the letter. Butler watching Horner.
Sylvester comes out to help. Ohio State very fortunate in that possession. Terence Dials then went to help out Sylvester as they rotated. Brunner dropped the ball on the ground. Steve Alford realized he had the mismatch that he wanted because the Buckeyes were out of position. They were 1 pass from a layup, and they turn it over.
And Brunner just had that ball slip out of his hands in what was called a tie ball. So on the alternating possession, the Buckeyes get it. Trying to regain the lead. in a game that is seesawed back and forth. Intended for Dials, intercepted by Thomas.
He's done a nice job defensively here tonight.
He must have taken at least 4 passes away from Dials with his great leaping ability. Sylvester now on Brunner. Haluska being guarded by Foster. Down the lane comes Henderson. Leaves it short. And Sylvester and Dials are there to combine on the rebound. 5th rebound for Terence Dials. A 1-point Iowa lead. Buckeyes with their 2nd opportunity to take the lead back. Last year's game in Iowa City decided in the final seconds on a Horner jump shot with 3.4 to play. Lewis for 3. Thomas with the rebound. He's come off the bench and got 4 rebounds tonight for Iowa.
And Larry, it's amazing. You're in what you consider to be a half-court game now. Each possession so important, but Ohio State will stay true to form. Just a step-back 3 from Lewis. No complaint whatsoever from that Ohio State bench because that's their style.
Shot clock is down to 8. Henderson knows that, trying to break down Lewis. Shoots over him instead. Dials coming up with the rebound. Thomas tried to take it away. Nice save of the ball by Jamar Butler.
Sylvester sets a screen for Foster.
Sylvester against Horner on the mismatch. Turns on him and misfires, and the rebound comes to Horner. Iowa got away with the mismatch there.
Big size advantage inside for Matt Sylvester.
Haluska, 16 first-half points, 0 second-half points.
Credit a lot of that to Jaquel Foster's defense. Boy, both clubs firing blanks right now. 2.5 to go. Bad Mata wants to talk it over.
And so Ohio State with their 3rd possession to try to regain the lead. Iowa clings to a 62-61 lead. The winner goes into a share of first place in the Big Ten Conference with 4 other teams and the possibility of a 5th if Indiana knocks off Minnesota tomorrow.
Iowa in their huddle, trying to figure out how to get a good look. Defense has been stifling the last couple of possessions, particularly by the Ohio State guards. Buckeyes have taken some quick threes, had the mismatch inside. Sylvester misfired. You're looking at an Ohio State team that really can look back on their season at this point and say they're truly just 2 possessions from being undefeated. And the 2 losses have been very tight.
A 2-point loss at Indiana and the double overtime loss by 3 to Michigan State. Our game reset. Again, the Buckeyes with 9 fouls, so Iowa in the double bonus on the next one. Iowa a long way from putting the Buckeyes in the bonus. Ohio State 3 timeouts left. Iowa with 2. The Hawkeyes have the possession arrow. Right now, the Buckeyes have the basketball, down by 1.
Hansen stays on the bench. That's Thomas going against Terence Dials.
Foster for the lead. No. Brunner with a rebound. Knocked to the deck. Foul by Sylvester. Sylvester with his 4th foul. And Brunner will go to the line for 2 free throws with 2:15 to play. But first, there's a break in the action. Iowa will try to expand a lead with Brunner on the line when we return to Iowa City. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association. The difference is blue. By Dodge, grab life by the horns. And by Shelter Insurance. For your insurance needs, visit shelterinsurance.com to find the shelter agent near you. Seek shelter today. Iowa trying to hang on to their perfect home court record, where they've already knocked off 3 rated teams, trying to make the Buckeyes the 4th victim. The Buckeyes trying to win on the road for the 3rd time this year. Nobody in the Big Ten has won that many on the road. Brunner's free throw not good. The best he can do is give Iowa a 2-point lead. Steve Alford peering in at what's been an intense ball game. Well played by both teams. 17 for Brunner, and it's a 2-point Iowa lead at 2:15. The Buckeyes have been stroking the 3 as per usual tonight. Did they go outside or inside, Bill?
They've lived by the three unless it's Terence Dials, and right now Ohio State showing some patience. Hawkeyes have forced the Buckeyes to miss in their last 5 possessions, and here's a foul away from the ball.
Thomas unintentionally knocks down Dials. And now let's take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by Liberty Herbicide. Make the most of every acre. Greg Brunner, an outstanding performance tonight. 17 points, 9 rebounds, closing in on his 10th double-double this year, the 29th of his career. He's our player of the game.
Plus, he's such a focus for Ohio State at the defensive end of the floor. I think it's hurt Sullinger and Sylvester both in offensive production here tonight, concentrating so much on Brunner. Sullinger now trying to take him outside.
Sullinger now inside. Can't score. Tip won't go. And the offensive rebound momentarily by Dials, taken away by Thomas. Thomas looked like he may have gotten a finger in the eye as he comes up the court a little slowly. Iowa a 2-point lead in the ball. 1:25 to play.
Basket area is wide open, trying to spread the floor. Double screen for Haluska.
Thomas off the baseline. Brunner tries to keep the rebound alive and does it to Henderson. So the Hawkeyes with a fresh 35.
Second time tonight he's gotten a tap, and it's not a controlled play where you'd get credit for a rebound, but he gets his team another possession with the hustle.
Brunner, who has not scored tonight, with the ball.
Under a minute on the game clock, shot clock at 15.
Brunner on the miss, Dials on the rebound. The Buckeyes can tie it with a 2, take the lead with a 3.
Ohio State shut out 6 straight possessions here down the stretch.
12 seconds difference, shot clock and game clock. Sullinger in deep, can't finish. But there is a foul on the baseline. So J.J. Sullinger will go to the line following Brunner's 3rd foul. Sullinger, a 69% free throw shooter, 2 out of 2 on the ball game.
Larry, a pretty good catch on that particular play. Butler really gunned that ball, taking it down the lane.
And once again, a conference between officials momentarily before our play can resume. Thad Matta wants to know what's going on. Now Sullinger needing both free throws to tie this game with 33 seconds to play.
Nothing but the bottom on the first one, and Larry, you said at the top, these two teams play it close. Here they go again.
Just like the last time they met in Iowa City. This is the only regular season meeting between these two. Big scrap for the rebound. It's Iowa's ball, out of bounds off the Buckeyes. So it's Iowa's ball with 32 seconds to play. So the shot clock is off, and Iowa leads by 1. Thad Matta uses a Buckeye timeout. So what are the options that Ohio State will look at here with Iowa in possession and the shot clock not a factor and a 1-point game?
Well, I think in this possession, you go for the quick steal, and if you don't get it, you try to find somebody not a great free throw shooter, and that's what they're looking at right now. The assistant coaches, I'm sure, are huddling, and they have all this listed pregame, but they'll go through the numbers and figure out who's the guy they'd most likely like to have at the line. Why, on the Iowa side of things, they're going to keep it in the hands of their shooters.
And Jeff Horner, who has not scored tonight and has been shut out only 1 previous time in his career, and ironically, it was against Ohio State, and that was in his freshman season. The only other time Horner has not scored in his great Iowa career was against the Buckeyes, and he's a guy that Iowa would like at the free throw line. Haluska is an outstanding free throw shooter, 4th in the conference, so those are the guys that Iowa would want at the foul line. Eric Hansen is in there. He's got good touch. Doug Thomas is not, because he's a poor free throw shooter. And that's why the switch, Hansen in and Thomas out.
Well, and Hansen with that great size is a good guy to come meet the ball in a pressure situation. That's Haluska. They get it across. There's the trap by Ohio State and the foul, and they'll go on Sullinger.
Sullinger with his 4th. Haluska 4th in the conference in conference games in free throw shooting, but tonight missed his last free throw. In the clutch, though, Haluska has been able to deliver at the free throw line. In fact, Haluska 8 out of 10 shooting in clutch situations with the game in the final moments of a close game this year. He goes to the line, with 2 with 25 seconds to play.
And that relaxes you quite a bit as a shooter because you're going to the line knowing you have 2 free throws. Calmly knocks in the first one.
25 seconds to play. And Iowa has a 3-point lead with 25 seconds to play.
Thad Mata up, and he'll want a timeout. So with 22.5 seconds remaining, Ohio State takes the timeout.
Well, there's probably not a team in the Big Ten that if they need a 3 to win a ball game or tie a ball game in this situation, probably not a better team to be in that situation than the Buckeyes.
Well, they can shoot them. They can shoot them with various people, as we've seen during the course of the season. Of course, here tonight, 5 different Buckeyes have knocked in 3s. They'll probably look for the 3 first, but there's still enough time in this one, Larry, that if you had to take a quick 2, if Iowa really comes out and pressures the perimeter, and you can go through the same scenario again, then the quick foul, and see if Iowa can convert at the line.
Again, 22.5 seconds left. We momentarily lost the clock, so we will update you on the clock as we go to the waning moments of this one. There it is, 22.5 seconds left. Buckeye ball. Iowa with the possession arrow. Ohio State has 1 timeout left. Steve Alford has 2 timeouts left. And on the next foul, the Buckeyes will be in the bonus. They have not been in this half. In fact, I don't believe they were there in the first half because they've not been in the bonus situation in the game. So again, we'll keep you abreast of the time with 22.5 seconds to play. The Buckeyes need a 3 to tie, or as Bill mentioned, would take a quick 2 if that was available to them. Iowa comes out with Hansen, Brunner, Horner, Haluska, and Henderson. The starters are in. It's Foster, Lewis, Dials, Sullinger, and Butler, the starters in for the Buckeyes. 22.5 seconds to play. Iowa by 3.
Boy, has the pace of this game changed. 40-36 halftime. Iowa with just 25 points here in the second half. But they've maintained that lead, played great defense down the stretch.
20 seconds. 19 seconds.
Off Lewis's leg.
Iowa ball, 17 seconds to play.
Now there's no question what Ohio State has to do. Foul quickly and cannot be choosy about who it is. Iowa will try to get it to a shooter.
It goes to Horner. He is fouled immediately by Lewis. And Jeff Horner, who has so far been shut out in this game, will go to the line with 16.8 seconds remaining.
Well, the senior has a chance to avoid the shutout and make things much, much more difficult for Ohio State if he can take this to a 2-possession game.
Horner, who beat the Buckeyes with a 15-point shot with 3.4 seconds remaining last year to give Iowa a 74-72 win at the line. It becomes a 2-possession game with 16.8 seconds left.
Ohio State called timeout in the half-court set. Got over anxious and just turned it over.
So the Hawkeyes 16.8 seconds away from maintaining their perfect home court record. The Buckeyes are that far away from suffering just their 3rd loss of the year. And like the other 2, it would be a heartbreaking last-second loss.
But Larry, give Iowa all the credit in the world, especially down the stretch when it became winning time in this one. And we're not saying this one's over, but Ohio State has not scored on their last 7 possessions.
And the prize for the winner, joining the group up at the top, Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin, all 5-2 after today's play. The winner joins this group in a tie for first place.
And Indiana playing Minnesota tomorrow, having a chance to get into that group.
And Indiana, again, 4-2, and they play Minnesota tomorrow, a chance to join that group. So we could have a 5-way tie for first place as next week begins, following the action tomorrow. But Iowa trying to hang on, win their 16th ball game of the year, trying to win for the 5th time against a rated team, trying to knock off a rated team for the 4th time on this floor, having previously knocked off Illinois, Indiana, and North Carolina State.
Well, at this point, it's meaningless for Ohio State in a 2-possession situation, whether you try to get 2 or 3, but you try to get something very, very quickly. go for the steal and then call timeout again. Hawkeyes do not want to commit a personal. They want pressure on the basketball to take a little time off the clock. Trying to keep their win streak alive at home.
Haluska tips it away. Lewis recovers. Buckeyes running out of time with 8 seconds. The long three won't go by Foster. Wrapping up the rebound is Horner, and the Iowa Hawkeyes knock off the 16th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 67-62.
Competitive basketball game, strong play by both clubs. It became a half-court game in the second half. The last 3 minutes of regulation in this one, Iowa really did a job defensively. Ohio State simply couldn't convert on their opportunities, and the Hawkeyes got it done when they had to.
So Iowa joins the league leaders with a 67-62 victory over Ohio State. The Buckeyes fall for just the 3rd time this year. Again, the final, Iowa 67, Ohio State 62. More ESPN Plus basketball. Florida A&M visits Ohio State on Monday. The Hawkeyes travel to Purdue on Wednesday. Check your local listing. Good night from Iowa City, where the Hawkeyes beat the Buckeyes 67-62.